Hello, welcome to Bite Size Med. This video is on the structure and function of the parathyroid glands. The parathyroid glands have the thyroid name in them, and that's only because of their location. They're located near the thyroid gland. Usually, there are four parathyroid glands embedded on the posterior surface of the thyroid gland, two towards the superior pole and two towards the inferior poles. Appropriately, they're thus named the superior and inferior parathyroid glands. And as with a lot of things in anatomy, some people can have more, some people can have a lesser number of these glands. There can also be variations in the locations of the glands, usually the inferior ones, because during embryological development, they migrate to reach their final position here. Embryologically, the parathyroid glands come from the third and fourth pharyngeal pouches. Now, I know it feels like the third form the superior and fourth form the inferior glands, but no, it's the other way around. The third pharyngeal pouches form the inferior parathyroid glands, and the fourth form the superior. These parathyroid glands, they are tiny. They are small, but they are well vascularized and are separated from the thyroid gland by a connective tissue capsule. So if we look at the parathyroid gland histologically, there's a connective tissue capsule that forms septa going through the gland. Those septa have nerves and, importantly, blood vessels, sinusoids. The main cell of the parathyroid gland is aptly called the chief cell or the principal cell. A little side note here, remember that chief cells are also seen in the stomach. Those are completely different cells. But here in the parathyroid gland, the chief cells are polygonal with a central round nucleus. They could be active or inactive. Active meaning they are synthesizing something, a protein which will eventually form the parathyroid hormone, also called parathormone. So the chief cells synthesize and secrete PTH. Thus, under an electron microscope, they will have well-defined Golgi apparatus, extensive rough endoplasmic reticulum, and secretory granules. The chief cells are the most abundant cells when compared to the other type of cell, the oxyphil cells. The oxyphil cells are lesser in number. They are larger and are more eosinophilic. They have clumpy mitochondria and glycogen. These cells actually show up more after puberty and increase in number with age. They're not very active cells, so their machinery is not as impressive as the chief cells, like the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus, and the secretory granules. They're possibly modified chief cells that are no longer active, so they don't secrete PTH versus the chief cells that do. The chief cells synthesize PTH similar to most proteins. It starts off in the nucleus with messenger RNA forming for PTH. This is followed by protein synthesis in the ribosomes. This forms a protein with 115 amino acids. This is called pre-pro-PTH, so it's got a few steps before it can be secreted. This is a longer peptide, and like all proteins, it's got an amino terminal end and a carboxy terminal end. The amino terminal end has a signal peptide or a leader sequence that directs pre-pro-PTH to the rough endoplasmic reticulum, where that leader sequence gets removed, leaving behind pro-PTH, which has 90 amino acids. It's still not done. Pro-PTH reaches the Golgi apparatus, where 6 more amino acids are removed, leaving behind an 84 amino acid parathyroid hormone, which gets packaged into vesicles and secreted. It's the amino terminal end of this PTH that has biological activity. And what activity is that? What does the parathyroid hormone do? It deals with calcium. It acts on bone, the small intestine, the kidneys to regulate calcium in the blood. What are its actions? When calcium is low, more PTH is produced, and it brings the calcium back up. When calcium is high, lesser PTH is synthesized and secreted. How does it do this? Well, on bone, it increases bone resorption, so that would release calcium into blood. It does that using things like osteoclasts. In the kidneys, it increases calcium reabsorption, so it takes back calcium into blood, again raising calcium back up when it's low. It has the opposite effect on phosphate. Calcium and phosphate go together. PTH reduces phosphate reabsorption, and thus more phosphate gets excreted in the urine. These are the direct actions on the bone and kidney. In the intestines, it acts indirectly. It's actually vitamin D that increases calcium absorption from the small intestine. But PTH is needed for vitamin D to get converted to its active form in order to do this, indirectly increasing calcium. So, by acting on these three organs, when calcium is low, PTH can help bring it towards normal again. That's two hormones important for the regulation of calcium, PTH and vitamin D. The third is calcitonin. Calcitonin is actually produced by the thyroid gland. PTH is produced by the parathyroid gland. Calcitonin is secreted by the parafollicular C cells or the clear cells of the thyroid gland. The two sound similar, so it can get confusing. Its actions are actually the opposite of PTH, lowering plasma calcium. But together, these are three important hormones in calcium regulation. Exactly how PTH does all of this stuff is what we'll look at next. But that's all about the parathyroid gland. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, you can give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.